Okay.
Maestro.
Gianni,
Angelo.
thank you for coming to the Brotherhood, Eternal Internet Brotherhood. How would you define the attitude of your generation of artists?
The attitude is, first of all, was to speak about our dreams. And our dreams, when they were supposed to be independent from the past. As when you are a child and you are growing up, is a great help to criticize the nearest adults you have, your parents. So you start, and you are very severe in criticizing the contradictions of your father and your mother, and criticizing their own contradictions helps a lot to grow up.
Mhm.
So if in the meantime, in the same manner, you go when you are you decide to sort of document the growth of your maturity, of your independence, of your visions, of your desires. You start with the heavy presence of the past, no? The people that was doing interesting things for you, that were attracting you, but in the meantime were their own interpretations, their own needs, their own criticisms about their past. So this is a vision, great artists of the past, a vision that were motivated by their own reasons, by their own needs. The needs are always the same for the generation following the other. And obviously the vision of your world is different from the one in the past and will be different for the ones who will come in the future or we are coming after you.
After.
So the visions of us was this. We had artists that were extremely interesting, but their own focus was about the, finding a position that was independent from their past. Our position was the one of becoming independent from the past, from our past. And that's all.
Do now, lately, what's your favorite thing to do? And what was the most interesting thing you heard recently?
What I'm going to do, well,
What are you doing now? What's your
uh,
habit? What's your favorite thing to do? And what's the most interesting thing you heard recently?
I like to quote, I think it is a quotation of Thomas Mann that was saying once, how can I convince my wife that when I'm looking through the window, I'm working? And what I like to do today is to do this, is look through the window and looking through the window working. I'm always working, I'm always at work. I'm not thinking I'm losing time. I'm losing time if I'm not doing this.
Hmm.
This is the reason. This is plus what I should like to desire most. I think this is a confrontation in between generations, for example. Right now, it just happened that I am the older generation. But what compliments me a lot is the interest of the generations that came after me for some of my work. So the interest of the following generations about things that mainly I did at the age of them.
Ah,
No?
like us here.
Exactly.
Yes.
And this is a game that is going on since 20 years. And I like to do it. I like to confront myself. Many artists ask me to do something with me, and I love it. I love to do also new work together with them.
Fantastic.
No? I I'm able to do new work also without them, but I love to do something also with them. Helps me in maintaining a fresh mental attitude.
But tell me something. Do you find the new generation of artists something interesting you see in our
Absolutely.
era? Because you watch what's
Uh,
happening.
Absolutely.
You see something interesting?
Absolutely, yes, I do. And I love the attitude of many of them for problems of space, how to visualize, how to see you in which kind of space, how to deal with a space, how to invent it. I'm missing something in the following generations. Sometimes, quite often, those kind of conceptually very clever ideas, confronting yourself with the space, understanding the games in between you and the space, understanding that if you are standing and you move the weight of your body from one leg to the other, you discover that the space is moving. There is nothing more dynamic than the static architecture, than the static environment, no? Because you are the point of view. If you move, everything moves. So I love that. And I love when young artists are doing that. I'm missing one thing. I'm missing sometimes the fact that when I was their age, my confrontation with the existing environment was looking for a duel with the same tools. So if the existing environment was having a sword, I had to have the same sword.
Yes.
So if there was a building and I wanted to to confront myself with that building, my confrontation had to have the scale and the intensity of language the building had. Today, it happens a little bit rarely. So very often, even the artist that is concerned about space uh, does a very interesting, conceptually speaking, work, but the confrontation is unbalanced.
Unbalanced. Okay.
Now, you, as a young artist, you are doing small things, quite clever and important and enough for everybody. But for me, sometimes the space speaks loud, and you speak instead too slow, in a way almost ununderstandable.
Do you relate architecture with sex?
In a very simple manner. Architecture is my love, and you do not sell your love the your idealized love. No? It's the love that is constantly alive through your life. And if you use it to make your own, to make your physical survival, to make money, this is no good. No? You do not sell, you do not send your love in a park to sell her sex, taking yourself the profit. You love architecture and you do not practice an architectural profession to make your own survival.
And one more. Okay, this is very hypothetical. How would you think art and architecture will look like in 30 years from now?
Architecture, the only architecture that has been done in the last 40 years that deserves to be mentioned has been done by artists, not by licensed architects, not by ego trips of archistars, but the only contribution to, to describe the evolution of the ideas man has about space, about architecture, has been done since at least 40 years by artists. The real history of contemporary architecture has been written by artists, not by architects. Architects never mentioning their own sources of inspiration are always coming after. Artists define ideas conceptually and languages, concepts and languages. Architects, they come after and they sell those ideas for their own personal profit.
So you think in 30 years from now, artists will always be in front, ahead from
No doubt.
Okay.
And this is why I went through studies of architecture as Gordon Matta Clark did, for example. And as Gordon Matta, that was a friend, we finished our studies about architecture, but from the really beginning after our graduation, we spoke and we made architecture with the tools of art, not with the tools of the licensed architect. Licensed architect, goodbye.
Okay. Thank you very much.